Everyone thinks that AI has rewritten the rules of business, and it hasn't. And believing it is quietly costing you customers, time, and a fair bit of money, probably. In the next 15 minutes, I'll give you the rules that actually decide who wins in the AI era, plus the one nearly pretty much every owner has backwards, in my opinion. So watch for the rule that changes how you hire from here on out. AI has changed how we work, right? How fast we can execute everything. But it hasn't changed what actually makes businesses win, right? Customers still don't want to wake up hoping just to buy AI. They wake up hoping that somebody can solve their problem. And that has never changed. The businesses winning right now aren't the ones with the newest, fanciest tools at all. They are literally just the ones that are using AI to become really sharp fucking operators. So they can decide faster, so they can build systems quicker. They remove bottlenecks before competitors will even notice them. And that right there, using AI to become a sharper operator rather than a busier one, that's the whole game of this, in my opinion. And it's exactly what I pull apart here every single week. So if you want to find out more about that, tap subscribe and I'll keep these coming your way. I'm going to keep them coming anyway. And that's what I want to talk about today anyway, because we are entering a completely new era of business. Not because AI replaced the fundamentals, but because it removed most of the excuses that we have. And one thing before we dig in, stick around because later I'm going to hand you the exact prompt that I used to audit multiple different landing pages, multiple different systems within 60 seconds. And over the last couple of years, I've watched the same pattern on repeat. Every time a new technology arrives, people fall in love with the technology itself. For example, early websites. Everyone thought having one was just enough. Then it was social media. Everyone thought posting daily meant more growth. Now we're doing the exact same with AI. Like, people think operating Claude puts them ahead. Like, it does to an extent, without question, but also at the same time it doesn't. Like, owning a hammer doesn't make you a better builder, or owning a camera doesn't make you a better filmmaker. And opening Claude every morning doesn't make you just a AI-powered business owner. The tool is the advantage, yeah, to an extent, but execution is the most important part. Two businesses can use the exact same AI and end up worlds apart. Like, one will create noise and the other one will create leverage. The difference isn't intelligence, it's implementation. Because AI rewards people who very much already understand how a business works, not people who just found a prompt box that they can use. So the first rule, and ironically, it isn't new at all, businesses grow because they solve a valuable problem. Not because they use impressive technology to solve that problem. They know what the actual problem is. If your offer is weak, AI won't make people buy it. If customers don't trust you, AI can't manufacture credibility. If your service is average, automating it just delivers a faster automation and average work faster, basically. The fundamentals still matter, and honestly, they matter more now, because AI has leveled the playing field for sure. But anyone can generate content, a website, ads, and emails in an afternoon. But watch how fast, something can happen. And just pretty much how fast something can go wrong if you don't understand what it actually is that you're trying to create as well. So I asked Claude for a landing page and draft, and it'll do it in under a minute without question. But so does your competitors as well. So all of this is becoming a commodity. And the businesses that stand out are going to be the ones that deeply understand the actual customer and then how they actually insert that into the AI system itself. Technology will change, human psychology won't. People still buy for more money, less stress, more certainty, more time, or some kind of a better future or desire or whatever it may be. AI hasn't changed the want, it's just made delivering the solution much faster and much better. So for years, business advice basically worshipped just ideas, like find the perfect idea, right? The perfect niche, the perfect opportunity, the AI that basically pretty much come in and flip that. Ideas are getting cheaper. Execution is getting a hell of a lot more valuable. So the real one I want to think about here is a business owner I worked with had a new offer, right? Sat on her head for weeks, right? But it wasn't going anywhere. So we used AI to structure the offer, write the landing page, build the onboarding, draft the proposal, and automate the follow-up, right? And it went from an idea to live in days, right? And that would have taken a weeks. But in that process, it wasn't all perfect, without question. But we had our intuition and checks, and we knew what was right and wrong. The difference is the fact that the speed that it took her to get that idea to a reality, not the fact that the idea to a reality is 100% right every single time, because you need to be checking that as well. The person who ships wins, right? AI is compressing time. The fastest growing businesses aren't working harder, they are shrinking the gap between thinking and doing. That is enormous when it comes to an advantage because execution will compound over time. And every week that you save, every decision you make quicker, every repetitive task is a skill. It buys space to improve the business again and continuously keep doing that. And it's a flywheel process. So AI isn't replacing operators, it is amplifying them. Great operators will become exceptional. Poor operators will just make mistakes much faster. So don't ask which AI tool is the best one that you need to learn. Nah. What I want you to do is I want you to ask, what is slowing my business down today right now? Because that's the first thing that AI should be fixing. Because right now, like there's literally pretty much so many business owners who are just getting this backwards. Like everyone's trying to build like an AI business and do this and do that. And like the wrong question is that you shouldn't be doing it. Customers are not just buying AI, they're buying outcomes, they're buying problems that are going to be solved. If you're not using AI to solve those problems and delivering a better solution, then it's a complete waste of time. So they're two completely different things. And I wish that someone had told me this a lot sooner in my career, don't get me wrong. Because even before AI, it always come back down to this. Look at the businesses that have basically lasted decades, right? You've got plumbers, you've got dentists, you've got accountants, you've got marketing agencies. None of them became irrelevant when AI arrived, right? If anything, they got more valuable, without question, because they can deliver a better experience now. They can have faster quotes, better communication, smarter onboarding, quicker proposals, and the customer doesn't care that Claude wrote it or did the proposal. They care that it solved the problem faster. And that's the shift. AI isn't your product. It is your advantage to input how you solve problems for your audience first, which is why I've spent the last 12 months building Titan Code OS, which is a central operating system to manage every single part of your company. So you haven't got sheets and information all over the place and you can actually communicate with it because it's a faster solution for me. And there's a massive difference between the two. For years, people thought technology was the advantage and it's not anymore. Technology is available to every single person. The real advantage is much harder to actually copy, which is going to be your experience, your frameworks, your decisions, your mistakes, your client work. Thousands of people have Claude now, guys. Thousands of people have ChatGPT. Thousands of people have Gemini as well. None of them have your years of hard judgment, right? Take an accountant who's spent 15 years cutting tax bills, or a business owner who's solved the same operational mess 100 times. That's not just knowledge. That is proprietary experience. That is intellectual property. That is a gold mine for inserting into AI to think everything that you have known, you have built, and you have learned, you can now find a solution to the problem 10 times faster. Not 10 times, a million times faster. And the AI genuinely gets more powerful the more that you actually feed into that rather than just trying to get AI to solve the problem. Feed yourself into it. Instead of asking Claude generic questions, like you teach it how you think, how you solve problems, and how you decide. That's what competitors can't download. That is where the biggest opportunity sits for the next few years. Not another chatbot. Right? It's building a central operating system around your experience, like one place where your knowledge lives, thrives, and works, which is literally what I've done for the last year. So the lesson that I love in this is most businesses don't need a rebuild. They need a good observation. Like we sold drama. Like that's it. Like you can have websites, funnels, brand model, new tools. You can have all this fancy shit that's exciting and it creates attention. But sometimes you just need to focus on moving the actual button. So the prompt that I use to try and find that button is this. So feel free to pause and screenshot this. It's the exact prompt that I use on every single landing page and pretty much check in a lot of different areas as well. You can shape this into whatever you want. So act as a conversion strategist. Here is my landing page copy. List the top points of friction where a visitor would hesitate to leave, ranked by impact on bookings. Call it the 3-point frictional audit, right? 60 seconds and it will hand you 3 things basically costing customers thousands of pounds. Now the maths, because this isn't a screenshot moment. Like say that you get 1,000 visitors a month booking calls and like 2, 3, 0.5% or whatever. Make the page clearer and you pick up 5 more calls a month and you put your real average client value to those basically 5 calls per month. And that is a serious number every single year just from trying to move one little tiny button like a landing page. And that's how a good operator will think. They don't chase the reinvention. They hunt friction. Where do customers get confused? Where do they hesitate? Where do they leave? AI is brilliant at spotting things fast, right? But it doesn't create the opportunity. It helps you see faster, right? We've gone a bit mad for prompts, in my opinion, right? They do help, but most of the time I don't even prompt anymore. I just describe because I know what to say. Every week, another video will promise you, right? Only basically the prompt is the last thing that you need and the useful and whatever else. But they're becoming such a commodity. And the thing that I want to teach people and train is like you need need to insert yourself and your experience into the AI system if you want it to perform properly. Because anyone can copy a prompt, right? But the real opportunity is how you can build a system around you and what's in your head and your experience, or even your future experience and knowledge. And the winners won't have the most prompts at all. They will understand how customers move through a business, how information flows, and how decisions are made, and how repetitive work can get removed. That is where AI creators will create absolute real leverage. It's not in clever answers or a business that runs smoothly. The next generation of successful founders won't call themselves AI experts. They'll be brilliant operators who just happen to use AI extraordinarily well. Businesses don't grow from collecting tools. They grow from removing friction one system at a time. And by the way, I've packed that friction audit and a few of my go-to operator prompts into a free pack. And if you want to have access to that, feel free to jump into it. Grab it. You can run the audit on your own page, right? And keep it nice and simple. And this is the rule that I told you to watch for, and the one that changes how you hire from here on out. For 20 years, when a business got busier, the answer was the same. We're slammed. Let's hire someone, more customers, more people, more admin, more meetings, more overheads. AI quietly changes that equation because your next hire will probably not be a person. It might just be building your own independent system. So before anyone panics, I'm not saying that you need to replace your people. Far from it at all. The businesses that thrive won't be replacing humans. They'll be removing the repetitive work that stops humans from doing their best work, and probably stopping the amount of people that you need to hire away from higher management staff, for example. So let me show you what this actually looks like. And watch this. A meeting ends, an AI system takes the transcript, pulls out the decisions and the actions, the points, and pushes it straight to a CRM against the client before you've even made a coffee. That's a 30-second build, and if you basically bought an hour back of your time where you're losing out on admin, that's going to change your life. So chasing information, repetitive emails and updating CRMs and summaries and meetings, reports and follow-ups, none of that needs your best thinking. That's exactly where AI belongs. It's not in replacing relationships, creativity, or trust. Replacing the repetitive work that is just killing your time all the time. And that's the biggest shift that anyone can make, right? And this is the bit that genuinely excites me. Your business can get smarter every single week, not because AI learns on its own without question, even though it does, but because every interaction becomes a lesson that you can actually keep. Every single proposal, objection, every win, every mistake. Captured, organized, reused instead of just lost, right? Now, let me show you this. So watch this. If I'm going to create a Claude project, think of it as your company brain. I drop in 5 of your past proposals and I ask, show me the 3 best proposals that we've ever written for this type of client. It then pulls them with what it's got within seconds. Now, imagine that across 50 projects. It asks where your clients get stuck. It tells you from its own history. Your business stops relying, right, on just random memory and starts building intelligence that compounds every time that you use it. And that's the difference between being trapped in someone else's head and also then building a central operating system that gets sharper every single week. Speed is becoming one of the biggest advantages in business, right? It's not about rushing, it's not about cutting corners, and it's also not about just unnecessary delay. Think how many businesses lose momentum by debating for weeks how they could test something tomorrow, right? It's just pointless. AI compresses that cycle completely. 3 days of writing a proposal becomes 30 minutes refining one. 2 weeks of waiting on a landing page becomes a draft today. How hours organizing meeting notes becomes notes that's structured before you've even left the room. That's not lower quality, that's less waiting. Ideas don't build businesses, execution does every day of the week. And all AI does is it shortens the distance between the two. And the businesses that adapt the quickest won't have better ideas. They will act while everyone else is just still sat planning and bitching about AI, like I say all the time. So after all that, what are the new rules in the AI era? Again, ironically, most of them aren't new. Customers, offers, trust, execution still decide it all. What's changed is that AI now removes the excuses from slowing you down. So small teams move like big teams, and hard-won experiences will finally scale if it's used properly. They're the new rules. And if you take one thing away from this, winners, right, are operators. They are not prompt collectors. And next week, I'm going to be looking at the different concepts that you can look at with human ideas and put it into perspectives, and also looking at different AI systems of step-by-step builds. And if you want to find out more about that, subscribe so it lands straight on your feed, because again, all these videos, it's going to give you more knowledge, more impact, and more control over what's going to happen in this next era. So if you've watched all of this and thought, right, I get it, but I don't really have the time to fit this into my business, that's the exact reason why I built Titan Code OS, because it is the complete central operating system for every single thing that you need inside your business. It's the thing that will cover your expertise, your proposals, your final refinements. You will train it on IP, your expertise, like your numbers, your data, your emotions, everything. And it simply gets smarter the more that you use it. And then rather than guessing your next move, you just turn around and say, what is my next move? So if you do want to find out more about, again, how we can help you, I'd love for you to book a discovery call with the link in my bio. We don't do high pitch stress in any way, shape or form. We just want to help people, right? And if we feel like we can help you, we'll say, and then it's your choice to make from there. Hope to see you inside.